What is up, Soul Fam? It is your sister in spirit and your guide, Alicia Dunleavy here. And welcome to June. It's Gemini season. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Gemini. It is my season. And this has been just the May Gemini energy was like, I really wasn't having it. But it was very much along with our May theme inside of our container, embracing transformation. And as we have discussed, embracing transformation can be extremely difficult. I mean, even going through the podcast episodes, you can see that like my transformation got pretty intense sometimes where I couldn't even show up in this space, in this podcast fully. But we are now in June, and in June, our theme is cultivating joy. And this month's episodes are really just going to be about sharing as much as I can about my journey in cultivating joy, not only as a teacher, but as a human being. Honestly, this episode is all about reclaiming joy as your birthright. So whether joy feels close or far away right now, I want you to know it is not lost. Joy is never lost, but sometimes it is waiting. So I'm really interested in exploring what it means to remember joy as a natural state. And so to kind of start off, I thought it would be cool to kind of reflect about the most recent time that I experienced joy. And funny enough, I was out for a walk on the Panhandle Trail. And I'm walking and I'm talking because that's one of my favorite things to do, guys. I really enjoy like walking and just talking to nature. You know, getting all of these thoughts out of my body, out of my brain, out of my energy field, and talking to my favorite mama, which is Mother Earth. And I was just doing my usual thing, right? So I'm walking. And I see this rabbit just sitting right off of the trail in the grass. And typically what I would have done is I would have stopped talking and tried to be like as quiet and as calm as possible as I'm passing the rabbit. And of course, every time I do that, the rabbit ends up running away. Well, this time I'm walking. I'm talking. I literally am talking so much to the trees around me that I actually don't even see the bunny until it is possibly 2-3 feet in front of me. And it's just sitting still, and I'm still talking, blah, 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 blah. And I walk right past it. It couldn't have been more than a foot away from me, and it didn't move. And I felt this extreme sense of joy and joy with a mix of other things, happiness, satisfaction, achievement. I was like, that's it. Like if I completely take my focus away from trying to remain calm and I just continue to be myself and do my thing, like that's when the rabbit feels the most safe. There was nothing really extravagant that happened in that moment. There was no reason. There was no real achievement in that moment, but it was just joy. I felt like a kid again, like there's a bunny. There's a bunny. And oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to walk by it, but I'm still just gonna I'm just not even gonna pay attention to it because I'm in my flow. I am in my flow. And the rabbit is in its flow. And we are coexisting together so well that the rabbit doesn't even feel the need to run. Which some of you might be like, well, the rabbit probably was just staying completely still. But through my studies, rabbit's actually one of my totem animals. It's very uncommon for rabbits to stay completely still whenever a predator gets too close. Their instinct is to run, just like my instinct is to run. Which is why that is one of my spirit animals, right? its nature is to run. It's super fast. It's super quick. And to realize that that moment of joy wasn't something that I had to earn. It wasn't something that I had to like, okay, let me try to do something different. Let me try to be something different. Let me try to manipulate the situation so that way it feels safe and I feel safe. It was just like I got to embody my truth, which was, I'm talking to mother. I'm talking to mother right now, and I'm getting some stuff off my chest, and I'm being open to receiving messages and guidance. It was really interesting. And so it brought me to like this understanding of what joy is. And I don't feel necessarily that joy is the same as happiness. I feel like happiness typically relies on things needing to go well, right? It's like in order for happiness to be sustained, or happiness is something that feels like it needs to be sustained. And so things have to typically be going in a certain direction in order to feel be in the flow of happiness, where joy to me feels deeper. It's like a pulse in the soul that says I'm alive. Joy can coexist with grief, uncertainty, and chaos. Even pleasure is a momentary feeling. Happiness is circumstantial, or can be circumstantial, but joy is elemental. I think about the times where I'm going through stuff all throughout May, going through all these transformative processes. And even though I would not have described myself as happy, I definitely had a lot of moments of joy. Calling my friends, laughing about the ridiculous things that we were going through, the hard and heavy things that we were going through. It is amazing to me that joy can exist inside of hardship, where happiness is different, right? Like, I'm really happy because things are going well. I'm really happy because I'm in the flow of things. I'm really happy because circumstantially, environmentally, everything is good. Joy, there are no conditions for us to necessarily feel joy. And it's also interesting to me because I do feel at some capacity, joy can be easily targeted. There was a time where I was working with a friend of mine, Samantha, wonderful, wonderful writer, poet, writing coach, oracle, where I realized that we were doing some shadow work, and I realized that joy was my shadow. Ugh. What? How could that be? How could joy be a shadow? Joy for me was a shadow because joy was an emotion that I regularly suppress. How many times I've been told, don't get too excited. How many times where my joy was annoying. It's like, okay, calm down, simmer down, right? There were maybe times where my joy didn't feel safe. And these messages settle deep in the body. And I have learned to dim my light, to dim my joy, because it was inconvenient for those around me. And I learned how to survive by shrinking. But as we know, living in a state of survival is not it. Surviving is not living. And living is not necessarily thriving. Right? And we survive by shrinking our joy. But reclaiming joy as an act of resistance, choosing joy, especially after pain, is a radical movement. And it's not naive or immature. It can be a declaration. I am more than what hurt me. I am more than the circumstances and the situations that I am in. I am more than the other feelings that I am feeling. Your joy can heal not only you, but anyone who witnesses you. When you laugh, when you rest, when you play, you're resisting a culture that glorifies burnout and suffering. And I think about my friend, shout out to Alexis. Every time I am on the phone with her and we are going through stuff, we make a joke out of it. And I don't even know if it's intentionally. It's just joy exists inside of this friendship. And while I have other friendships where we dive deep into the hardness of it's heavy and it's heavy and it's heavy. That is not the friendship that I have with Alexis. Joy prevails consistently and constantly in spite of what is going on in our lives. And I can tell you that joy heals me every time. It heals her, dare I say. And it heals our relationship to ourselves, to each other, and to life, to life's hardships. It gives us the opportunity to sink into an affirmation, a thought or an affirmation that says, joy lives in me and I'm safe to feel joy. Maybe that's something we can all share together. Joy lives in me and I am safe to feel joy. And for all who might be going through something heavy, I invite you to ask yourself a question, which is, what are you holding on to right now that is blocking your ability to connect to joy? And let it spill onto the page. Don't edit yourself. Don't censor yourself. There's wisdom in the rawness. What stories do I carry that block my joy? Well, this is a sad situation, right? That could be a block. Well, this is sad. I'm sad. That's why I can't feel joy. Why would somebody want to laugh? This is not a laughing matter. Man, that makes me think about being a kid and just like my parents going through something heavy and I'm just like living in my own world. Or trying to make them laugh, trying to invite them into my laughter. But they are so consumed with suffering, so consumed with the bill that's not paid, that they can't even shift their focus for a moment to just experience joy. Joy is there. Joy was right there, wanting to play. I was just the medium through which joy wanted to play. But the choice to focus and to anchor into the heaviness prevented them from being able to play. And I'm guilty of that as well as a parent to my own child. Stress can be such a disconnecting thing. But for those of us who are willing to put in the work, for those of us who are willing to expand our minds, our souls, we can see from an outside perspective, like, I can play with joy for a minute or two. You know, And I think what's even more beautiful is that sometimes joy creates the space for new answers, new insights, new wisdom to come in. I guess my call to action today for all of you is choose one act of joy, one thing just for you. Put on your favorite song, lay in the sun, text somebody just to say you love them. Reclaim the sacredness of joy without the guilt. And for those that are like, I can't even think of what to do, ask for an opportunity to experience joy. When I tell you, when I saw that rabbit not run away from me, I thought that I was living in my greatest possible timeline in that moment. I don't think it always has to be so complicated, you know? But our brain, it's designed to think and to problem solve, and it's designed to complicate things. It's designed to look at the complexity of things. And that's a miracle. But if life is too complex and adding this idea of like, how do I act on joy right now feels too heavy and feels too complex, then that's the time to pray. Ask the Creator to create an opportunity for you to experience a moment of joy. And joy doesn't mean that life is perfect. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying ask for the opportunity for everything to be perfect so that way you can experience joy. No, joy isn't circumstantial. It's something ancient. It's something deep. To experience joy means that you've remembered something ancient inside of you that your spirit was never meant to be numb to. And even here, and especially here, you're worthy of joy. And may your joy return like a sunrise. Maybe quietly, inevitably, and full of light. Sending you all of the love, hoping for you all a wonderful week, and we will tap back in soon. Bye.